Okay, so 8.3.6, as we talked about in the last video with 8.3.3, when before industrialization, when you made things, you made it by hand. Maybe your mom made your outfit, or your sister, or your grandmother, or the neighbor down the street made it for you, or like your furniture, your father made it, your uncle made it. So everything that you have was handmade, was made locally, was not even, there was no factories. So it went from there to basically like the way that you would get a shirt is you would have a member of your household or neighbor down the street make it for you. But today, in order to get a shirt, you have the cotton grown in one country and it's spun into thread, maybe another part of that country, and then it's made into cloth in a different country, and then it's printed with the design on it in another country, and then it's shipped to you. So it goes from like down the street or across the hallway to across the world. So trading and how the Industrial Revolution impacted things globally was a huge, that's a big change, right? The way that money used to be handled was based off of the agriculture. So the products or the agriculture produce that you grew, basically the more that you grew, the more wealth you had, right? So it came from that to the new way to show how wealthy you were was by how much gold and silver you owned. That came really to be true during what we call the Age of Exploration. That's when Europe, and mostly Europe, just went and explored, colonized. That's when we had the American colonies, the Indian colonies, meaning Indian. The African colonies, Australia. So Europe is going out and exploring all their colonies that they get all these resources from these new lands, and they can only go to them. So it's all these free resources that you bring back, and that really helps build your economies, because you have all these new resources and all these raw materials and these resources that you have. You're able to make basically an actual product that is geared towards consumers. This is what we call the consumer market, or the commercial revolution, is when you have material like sugar and you make it into a jam and jelly, and that's what you make. And that's what the commercial revolution is about. It's commercializing products. Hey, I sell these. Specialization, only making one thing at a time. So colonialism and the Age of Exploration really just made that boost kick off. So, again, just one of those things that they just build on each other. Because of the Age of Exploration, we have more trade routes. So I'm going to show you, here's one such. This is the triangular trade. This is mostly involving, we talked about this briefly in another video, in 8.1 or 8.2. So all of these trade routes, there's all these new places that you can go and trade to, and this is just showing the triangular trade about it. There's trade up here, over in this area that you can't see because of this. So this is just showing it, but this is just showing that there's so many more trade routes that people can go and sell their products that they're having. So new trade routes, new markets. Now, the way that things used to be controlled is the government used to pretty much control the markets. They did not want their people buying things from other countries. They were okay with them selling things to other countries, but not buying them from other countries. So basically this level of control by governments called mercantilism. So remember the mercantile, merchant, controlled by government. Okay, so that basically just means anything that will benefit our country, yes, good. Anything that we have to pay other countries for, no. Only buy within our country and just sell to other countries. Don't buy from other countries. So this is during the Industrial Revolution, there was people who were trying to grow their wealth. If you've watched Pirates of the Caribbean, you might have heard of the Dutch East India Company or the East India Company. These are people who created joint stock companies. So right here you have a picture of many people. Each person owns a portion of a business like the East India Company, and together they own a lot of stuff. So this is basically like a corporation where you have many people. It's not just one person who controls all this stuff. It's many people who together control this stuff. So each of them, they don't have enough money to afford it by themselves. So they go in basically with partnership or a corporation with other people, and they're able to do this. So basically that's like I don't know, a business where you want to purchase some land and run a business, but you can't afford it, but other people are interested in it too. So together you run that business. So that would basically be what a joint stock company is. So thankfully to this Industrial Revolution, we have mass production, we have specialization, people can make more money, people can make things quicker. The last thing, kind of going off of that government control that I talked about with mercantilism, is there was a economist named Adam Smith who was talked about in the unit. He was basically the father of capitalism. He's the guy who said that the market should dictate the prices. Government should have no say. He did this because he was kind of going against mercantilism. Mercantilism was going down and capitalism was going up. It was becoming more popular. So he said that no government should be interfering, no regulations from government. Their job is just to protect the people and keep the government, keep the country going and safe and secure, but not have anything to do with the economy. He promotes a laissez-faire or hands-off approach, where basically laissez-faire just be like free, hands-free, no government at all. Now the problem is some people also notice that capitalism, it's great for the wealthy. It's okay for the middle class. It sucks for the poor. And that's true. That's why here in America we have such a huge range between the upper class and the very poor people. And that's just a downside of capitalism. So there were some people who were against Adam Smith and said capitalism is bad because it only helps the wealthy people. But it did grow the middle class. That's the reason why there is actually a middle class. If you do not have capitalism, you don't have a middle class. But now there's a debate between capitalism and more like government regulation, kind of a command economy, more like communism. So it's like, how much control should the government have? Capitalism says none. Command economy says, yeah, a lot, because if you don't have even a little bit of government control, people are going to walk all over your employees. You're going to have child labor. You're going to have people humiliated at jobs. You're going to have people discriminated against at jobs, and that's not fair. And it's true, it's not, but so that debate is ongoing. And that's the high points for 8.3.6.